All right, welcome everybody. We have special guest for you. King Dre is here. He is another YouTuber that I ran across kind of accidentally. One of his videos, he was talking about his journey with giving up alcohol. And he's been so gracious to show up here and talk with us about that process. He said some things in a video of his I watched that really sort of got my attention. And this is coming from somebody who hears people talk about quitting alcohol every day. So he's got something special to say. You guys help me welcome King Dre to the show. Hello, we're glad you're here.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Appreciate the opportunity.
He's going to tell us about the realities of getting sober. One of the reasons why I invited Dre here is because he is a truth talker. He tells it like it is. So just
Yeah.
give it to us straight. Tell us about how how you started drinking, just how it started for you.
Drinking, as you know, it was the struggles was with me was drinking and then alcohol. The drinking started high school. I think it was high school. Just something like everybody else is doing it type of thing, like
Right.
cool, like being cool, like that type of thing. And it was a social thing for, a lot of my life. And a de-stressor too at the end of the day, but the drinking part didn't get out of control until my 30s.
Okay. So
Yeah, that
it
was
started off kind of normal for you, regular, like most people drink in high school or 20s, early 20s. But then
yes.
something happened, you said, and it changed.
Yeah, I went through a breakup, and I think I was 32 or 33 years old. Bad breakup with my kid's mother, and I knew it was over from that point. And we were together probably on and off for the better part of 10 to 12 years, but this I knew it was over. So actually before because we had started to have problems, and I'm not the type of guy to like beg people to be with me or stalk, or I just always felt like I could just get somebody better, but um I felt that I was losing what I considered my family,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. So um yeah, just one thing led to another, and I just started drinking every day for about a year.
So you drank socially, but now you're sort of drinking to cope.
Yeah, every day, like every
Anxiety,
day.
stress. Right. Okay.
Yeah, and then it's
Heartbreak. Okay.
yes, every day. And it got bad. Again, I would drink, party. I partied a lot in my 20s, so I, binging on the weekends, going out to clubs, drinking. But I didn't felt like I needed it then. All these years, it's just like, okay, you do this when you go out, go on a date with a woman, you have some drinks. It was that type of thing. But again, after that breakup was when it was like every day, and I noticed myself like going to the liquor store if I got off of work, getting fifth, a whole 750 milliliter or whatever it is, a fifth, and I would drink the whole thing. The
Did you
whole
notice that you would sort of plan your life around it? Like, did you think a lot about it? Were you like, I can't wait to get out of here. I'm going to stop at the store. Like, did it become kind of central in your thoughts?
Nah, it was just natural. Like it wasn't
Okay.
like a conscious, like it was just
Like automatic.
automatic. Just clung to it automatically.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, just every single day. Every day. A
At
whole
what
fifth.
point did you start to think something wrong here, or I don't like this? When
One
did
of
it
my
kind of hit
friends was
you
like,
that
one
something
of my
was wrong?
friends was like, dang, bro, you've been drinking a lot. It's like, it's all good. It's like, whatever. It's all good. Cause I was still, I was working out and stuff like that too. But he was like, you've been drinking a lot, kind of brushed it off. But I started to notice that I would get extremely anxious around the same time every day. Like extremely, like very, very anxious.
Mm-hmm.
And it was around the time when I was time to drink.
On a drink, it's called the I need a drink feeling.
Uh
Yeah.
when I drink, it started to go away. I was like, okay, yeah, this is bad. This is getting out of hand.
Now, this buddy that said, "Man, you've been drinking a lot," is this a guy? Did he drink too? I'm assuming like y'all drink
No,
together.
he didn't, but he
He
smoked
didn't
weed.
drink.
So
He
it's
smoked
weird.
weed. Okay.
You
His
know.
thing was weed. Your thing was drinking, but he sort of called you out a little bit.
Yeah, and you know, amongst us, like alcohol is kind of the bad thing. Weed is society. Weed is like, oh, it's you know, I'm not a weed smoker. I don't smoke weed.
Okay.
But yeah, he probably smoked weed more than I drink. But he just, you know, it's like, man, you kind of drinking a lot, man. Been drinking a lot. I was like, whatever.
What do you think when he said that? What do you think internally?
I didn't give it much thought. It was just like, oh, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, mind your business, basically. Like, it's not that serious.
Okay. So
Yeah.
a little defensive, not like crazy. You're probably thinking, dude, you have your thing. That's just my thing or something like that.
It was, it was thinking that, but I didn't say that to him. I
Didn't
was like,
say
yeah,
it, right?
it's like, hey, everything's straight. I'm good. Cause he was like, you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. It's just, you know what, you know how it go. It's just, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that didn't go, that conversation really didn't go too far after that. You know, but again, I started to feel like even if I get extremely anxious now, it's not that type of feeling.
Okay.
Like after I stop drinking, I get extremely anxious. It's not like that. It was very, very intense, like very weird. Like, it's hard to explain, but I would notice I would get that around that time, around like 7 p.m., 7:30 p.m. I would get that feeling. Then
Is that
start
your
drinking.
normal? That would have been your normal, like drinking like after
Yeah,
work
go
or something
home.
like that
Yeah,
time?
go
Okay.
home and chill out, or go to the gym. I would go to the gym first, and
Mm-hmm.
then when I leave the gym, I stop by the liquor store, and then
That makes sense because I was thinking for most people that feeling starts around 5 or 6, but you did the gym, and so
yeah, I
for
do the
you,
gym
that's
first.
why your clock was set to like
Mhm.
around 7-ish.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So after the guy said it to you, did you start to notice it more, or that just was like an event and it just kind of passed?
It was just an event, and it kind of passed. And I always had the mentality that it ain't gonna be me. I'm better than that. Like I'm stronger than that. Like it's not me. That ain't gonna be me. That can't be me.
Okay.
It's not like I need it. I can cut this shit off when I want to.
I don't need that.
Yeah, I don't need it. It's just something to do. I was not dealing with my kid's mom anymore again, and then I'm dealing with a bunch of girls. So it's just like, get off work, go to the gym, stop by a liquor store, invite a new girl over, and you just drinking together.
Mhm.
Like even when I didn't have a girl, I would drink
Drinking.
every
Okay.
night.
And then what happened that made you decide you didn't want to do that anymore?
I started to get this feeling. I started to get this feeling. I was telling you about. And I remember it was Super Bowl. Right before the Super Bowl, 2019 Super Bowl. So this is around February, because I quit in March. I was getting these feelings, and I remember I was doing a video for my channel. And in doing the video, I was talking about like lying and stuff, but I felt really eerie. Like I felt really weird doing this video. And I don't know, I just remember feeling really weird. Well, a couple of days later, I guess I had a panic attack, and I went to the ER, and they ran my blood work, and they did all of this stuff, and it was like, hey man, your blood pressure is crazy. Your heart rate is all over the place. Do you drink or smoke? Any other time I go to the doctor, I would always lie. No, I don't drink. No, I don't smoke. For some reason, I was like, yeah, I drink. How much? I drink a bottle a night. It's like, you need to chill. It's going to start getting bad for you. You got to chill out. I still didn't stop right then and there.
Okay.
But I was like, okay, I'm going to try to chill. And then one day it was March 19th or March 20th, one of those days. March 20th. The night before, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be done with the drinking or whatever. Because they made me buy when I was at the hospital, he was like, you should get a blood pressure thing, man, because your blood pressure's high and shit. Excuse me, your blood pressure's high. You should buy a blood pressure thing. So I had bought the blood pressure thing, and this was just making me more anxious. So this was
watching it all the time.
Yeah, because I was like, it's like really high. It's like 160 over 170 over like 90, 170 over 100. I was like, damn. So I remember making the decision, like, you know what? I'm not going to drink anymore. I'm not going to ever drink again, right? that March 19th. So the next day, I remember buying that night. I bought some alcohol and I didn't drink it. But I was like, just in case I freak out or something, or I can't take it, I'm gonna just take a shot or something.
Okay.
I had it. It was a pint of Crown Royal apple. They should drink that around the time. The Crown Royal, the apple. Not a pint, a fifth of it. And I remember like my body just went like crazy. Crazy. So I ended up going to the hospital. He's like, what's going on? I was like, I don't know. I'm feeling weird. I'm shaking. It's all of this stuff. And he was like, do you drink or smoke? I was like, yeah, I drink. He was like, when last time you had a drink? I was like, yesterday. And he was like, how much do you drink? And I told him. He was like, you withdrawn from alcohol.
What did you think right then? Well, stop right there. When he said you're in withdrawal, what did you think? Did you know you were in withdrawal, or were you?
No, I thought I was probably having a panic attack or something.
Okay.
Which I probably was, but yeah. So he was like, you probably withdrawn from alcohol. And so I'm sitting there, I was like, it's that serious? Like this, I'm like, this shit is pretty serious. Like, this is bad. So he gave me some Ativan. He's like, you got to take this for the next week. I think it's called Ativan or something like that.
Ativan. Which is it's a benzodiazepine. It's like a Xanax.
Yes, he gave me 7 of those. Take it. No, he gave me, I think, enough for twice a day for a week or something like that. It's like, take this. That's where you don't have seizures or nothing, and you gotta stop, man, because your blood pressure's high, and it's you at that age, it's gonna start affecting you. And so I remember sitting in the hospital, and I was like, I'm done. If it's this serious, hell no, because I don't want to feel like that again. So,
well, let me ask you this: most people that I see in that situation, they would think, okay, I'm going to cut it back. But you thought, I'm done with it. Why didn't you try to cut it back?
Because it's like, it's getting in the way of my health. I'm noticing, I'm starting to notice around this time, I'm starting to notice that I'm taking things, I'm going there with women. Let's say like if a woman would make me mad, I would like argue with her and try to like get closure and all of this shit, right? And I'm not like that. Like like it made my behavior worse. That was like more unattractive, right?
Okay.
And so my kid's mom would have like little arguments and stuff like that. And this is going on. Then I'm seeing my health. And as I explained to you, like behind the scenes, how my mentality of I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the strong guy. I want to be the guy that has the edge above everybody else in the room. I want to be the guy that, I want to be in control of everything. And then feeling this, like if alcohol is making me do this and making me feel this way, I'm done. I'm not doing that no more. I'm gonna try to quit it right here.
So there's like several pieces. There's the
it's a bunch
competitive part of you, right? You're part of your personality. Then there's the, like, I don't like what this is doing to me physically, and I don't like the person it's turning me into.
Exactly.
And that part of you that wants to sort of conquer things or be stronger than things, that's the part of you that said, I want to be done with this.
I'm going to be done with this.
Okay.
I was in for a wild ride. I didn't realize what I was in for, but I definitely didn't want that.
Okay.
I definitely didn't want that because I don't want for people to see me or think about me and it's like, they look at me in a negative light or that I can't control myself or you know, I like to, I don't know. Again, I like to be the top guy, and I felt like I can't be like that. I felt like I can't really be like that if this is in my way.
See, I like it because a lot of people really resist the idea of stopping because they feel like they're being controlled. Like if someone says you need to stop or something, but you decided the alcohol was controlling and you didn't want to be controlled. So you kind of looked at it,
Right.
but reverse.
Right.
And so one of the reasons I wanted you to share your story is because, as I say on this channel all the time, there's a lot of different ways people quit. Some people go to treatment, some people go to counseling, some people go to 12-step meetings, and some people decide to stop. And Dre decided to stop. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, he didn't really have it. He really had it.
Yeah.
Like he showed up in the emergency room in withdrawal. Okay, so that's the evidence that alcohol had a hold of you.
Yes.
Physically for sure, right? Okay.
Yes.
But you decided, that's it, I'm done. Now that's not the end of the story, right? Because you said you went through some stuff. Tell us what you went through.
So with that, I figured, okay, because I had more vices, cigarettes and caffeine. So I'm at this low point, pretty much scared every single day, like at the height of like that was a rough time. Because now I'm dealing with my issues, all my issues from my 20s, because I lived a rough life. You know, I didn't live in the best of way that people should live. So I started dealing with stuff like that, dealing with the issues, you know, healing, like trying to heal from, you know, moving on from my kids' mom, like all of this stuff. I'm broke. I don't have a purpose in my life. Like all of this stuff. I'm in my 30s. I'm flat broke. My kids depend on me. Like all of this shit is now. Like I don't have the alcohol to make me feel better at night anymore. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like low, feeling really low. And I said, okay, this is the time to stop smoking cigarettes and drinking caffeine and truly get healthy. And so I made the decision a few weeks later to cold turkey the cigarettes and the caffeine.
Okay, hold on. This is interesting, Dre. Okay, like, hold on. You're like, I'm at the lowest point. My life sucks. I'm dealing with crap. I feel like crap. You know, my financial life's not in order. My emotional life's not in order. I think now's a good time to give up caffeine and nicotine. Now, a lot of people are going to be watching thinking, I'm not tracking you here. So you're going to have to stop and explain that to us a little better.
I know the logic sounds crazy, right? But sorry, that was my computer. Sorry. The logic sounds crazy, but in my mind, my thought process was like, well, I would rather get it over with now than to overcome this and be on a high and, you know, up, and then I have to crash down and be down here again. So while I'm down here, let me just cut this bullshit now.
Let's just do it at once. Rip the Band-Aid off. Okay.
Just rip it all off right now and just feel it. I'm not gonna say it was a mistake, but I didn't know what I was in for.
It was brave. I can say that.
Yeah, so I did that, and the cigarettes was actually worse than the alcohol, as far as like not the physical parts, because quitting alcohol has physical consequences, like physical. But as far as like the mental aspect, even some physical, but there's not a physical danger that comes with, you know, you can die from
right. That's
alcohol withdrawal. I don't think you can die from withdrawing from nicotine, but it's very uncomfortable, physical symptoms. But the mental part was like 100 times worse than the alcohol.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I would be like driving in the car and I was just like break down, like crying, like feeling like the absolute bottom barrel of shit, just crying, like boohoo crying, like in the car, just like what the hell, like it's weird and scary, but it was pretty bad. Anxiety was like through the roof every single day, every day.
You must have felt like you were going crazy.
Yeah, I did. I felt for a while, I felt crazy. Very crazy. But I knew that it was I didn't know why, but I knew it was for a reason. Like this is not a coincidence. So I'm either paying for something that I did in my past right now, or I'm doing, like, there's a reason for this. Like maybe it's to be a role model for my kids or something.
Okay.
But there's a reason, right? Outside of me wanting to be strong, me wanting to be the best version of myself, me wanting to be healthy, me not wanting to, damage my body beyond repair. Outside of this, I knew deep down that like I'm probably paying for something that I did in my 20s, right? As far as like the way I used to live, or
You thought karma was getting you?
yeah, I was something, because I was like, there's no way, like, and I'm thinking like, how do people live sober? Like, how do people, right? Even like without nicotine, people don't
Mm-hmm.
realize like nicotine, it doesn't give you a high, it doesn't make you woozy, but it's very, very strong and it's very powerful. So, you know, again, I was just like, it was rough. It was very, very, very rough. I
Did you
started
have any? Did you have any relapses? Like, did you
nah,
lapse back at all?
I'm like, I will never, I don't never want to go through that again. Like the
Okay.
urge to, that was too much. Not to say that I can't get through it, but I'm not. It's not even worth it to go through that again.
Yeah, I just want to do this once. I don't want to have to
Yeah,
start
I don't
over.
want to have to
I don't
keep
want to
doing
have
this.
to go back in here. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It was. Now there have been times to where I've thought like I've been going through something rough or dealing with something. It's like a cigarette would make me feel better right now, but it didn't make me like, oh, I didn't have to. Like when you're searching for answers or you're trying to calm yourself down,
Mm-hmm.
like, man, if I had a cigarette, this would be all over with. But I didn't get the urge to go. Like I didn't have to stop myself from doing it.
It's like an automatic thought.
Yeah, it's just like, because you feeling, with me, it was like you feeling bad about not having a solution, or you feeling bad that you made yourself this anxious, or you on the verge of panic, or you this upset, and you trying to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, I felt like a kid when I stopped doing all that. I felt like a kid again, like not knowing how to process stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
so there would be times where it was like, if I had a cigarette, I wouldn't even be feeling like this,
Right.
because you're on a journey to try to figure out how not to let yourself get to this point, or to even process this. So I had those moments, but it didn't make me want to do it again.
You had the bigger picture in mind. So somehow you
Yes.
were able to sort of get through the really hard moments by staying focused on the big picture
Yes.
and what you wanted. Okay.
Right.
How
Yes.
long how long did you feel that way? Like how long did it go on? How long before you felt better at all? Or did you?
Um, Probably from that lowest point was probably a couple months. So this was around March and April. It was probably around June or July, because I remember, if you go back and look, anybody that's, if any of my supporters here, um, if any of my supporters are here, they'll know I took a lapse in my content. Uh,
Okay.
a few months. This is when I first started, and I came back around June or July. So from, let's say, April, Mayish to June, July. So maybe March, April, May, 3 to 4 months, and then I started to kind of, all right, we gotta do something. Gotta
Okay.
get back to the gym. We gotta continue making this content. We have to, do something. And I remember coming back and doing the first video back. Everybody, I didn't have a big following then, but the people who did follow was like, man, we glad you back, and all of this. So even that, like, stuff like that keeps me, kept me like going and made me feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I started to, from there, my life started to go like uphill, at least financially.
Now, what's the connection there for you between I stopped these things and life got better for me financially?
Alcohol is $40 a day. I smoked American Spirits, which was like $8.50 a pack where I'm at. The
Okay.
light green American Spirits. Um, I smoke those every day, so that's damn near $50 a day. You feel it instantly, especially like now where I'm at financially. Like it's hard to tell, right? I'm not bragging, but it would be hard to notice that. But at that time, I was like extreme. I was flat broke. Um, you started to notice it instantly financially.
I'll get my calculator out. I have to do this. Hold on. So it's $50 a day times 30 days a month. $1,500 a month.
Yes, times 12.
Wow.
By the end of the year, like it made it. You can completely.
Let's go times 12 is 18,000.
Yes.
Wow. Gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes some sense. Okay.
I think about stuff like that.
Okay. All right. Do you think your financial situation, did it get better because were you more in the game? Were you a better version of yourself yet or not yet?
Yeah, all of the above.
All of the above. Okay.
Mm-hmm. All of the above. It was like I'm more level-headed. I'm more clear. I can think better. I have I can breathe better. I can, I'm working out. I can budget more. I got this extra $50 a day that I can literally see piling up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's just it was a bunch of different stuff all at the same time. Basically, it was a bunch of different stuff. But yeah, it was up from there. Basically,
the momentum got traction and momentum in the right direction, just like you can get traction and momentum in the wrong direction.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was motivational too. Like seeing, like, oh shit, I'm getting myself back.
Okay. And so, do you think you hit a bottom? I'm sure you've heard that term. People use that term a lot. Like, would you use that term for you, or would you not use that term for you?
Hit a bottom as far as what?
As far as like the drinking, because that was the first thing. You stopped that, and then the nicotine, all that. Like, would you use that term for yourself or no?
Yeah, that's what I felt like. I'm at the bottom. Like this is the lowest point in my life ever.
Before you stopped, like when you ended up in the emergency room, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because it wasn't just that, but all the other life things that were happening too. Like life was not working.
Yeah, it was bad. But my mother raised me like everything that happens to you is your fault.
Okay.
And so like I'm naturally like not a blamer. Like she would not let me blame nobody else but myself. And so I naturally had that. Like I couldn't point the finger and like my life is shitty because of the choices that I have been making over the last few years. This is why my life is like this. And I'm the only person that can fix it. There's nobody else can fix it but me. And I have people to depend on. And I want to show them that I have people that depend on me. And I want to show them, right? I'm doing my coaching thing and everything. I have guys following me. Of course, it's way bigger now. But even then, I have guys following me. I have a following and I have children. So, they need to see this and I have to get over it.
So it's sort of a combination of taking accountability, which is something you were raised to do, is to be accountable for everything in your life, which is huge. I really hope the people listening really hear that, because that I feel like that's the key difference between why you made the decision and got better. It's that accountability piece. And then there was also this mix in there of, I need to be a leader. I need to be a leader for my children. I need to be a leader for the people that follow me. I need to step up.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. Gotcha. And I wanted to be healthy. It's a lot of stuff. Can I say this?
You can say whatever you want.
I don't want to run out of breath when I'm having sex. None of this stuff. Because I started to get healthy and I was performing better too. So all of this stuff was like, it's a bunch of stuff. It's a lot of it.
Watch me. There's no bad reason. Any reason is a good reason to stop. And that's a good one. There's no bad reason.
That just popped in my head. I know we didn't talk about that before, but that just popped in my head. Like, I remember thinking that, like, you're smoking all the time, you get winded and you can't really perform. It's not really for her, but it's just for yourself.
Right.
Your gym, even performing in the gym, you don't get, you can't go as long as, once I quit a couple months later, I was walking up 30, 40 flights of stairs on the thing. So I was just a good feeling.
Okay. Any reason is a good reason. And a lot of family members watch, and I always say, find out what the what their reasons are, because they may have different reasons than you, and their reasons are more important.
Mm-hmm.
And so for you, it was about feeling physically healthy. It was about bringing your A game, I think.
Yes.
In all the different directions.
Yes.
What was the hardest part?
The mental part, the
mental
anxiety,
part.
the panic attacks, and that was just, it's rough.
Did that get better?
Yeah, yeah, it did. It started to get better. And then COVID changed everything. COVID put everything. Shot, watch out, back up, shot. COVID. I was talking to my producer. Sorry. COVID changed everything around. The silver lining in the COVID was I was able to, do therapy, and even then I was able to focus now. And my business then went to the next level. But yeah, COVID I was doing a lot better. Everything was going good, and then COVID hit. For some reason, that just brought everything back. Pretty much, I felt like it wasn't as intense, but I was on a low to the point that I was like, I need to get therapy or something. I got to do something.
Because you were telling me that before we went live, which was you didn't, because I was asking Dre, he didn't go to treatment. He didn't go to counseling. He didn't go to AA. He didn't go to Smart Recovery. He didn't do any of those things other than your doctor gave you 7 days worth of medicine to help you get through withdrawal a little bit. And other than that, but you did end up going to therapy, but it wasn't to stop the alcohol or the nicotine or the caffeine. It was
to
about
figure out why I'm so anxious. Why does my brain get so anxious?
Mm-hmm.
And so we started going. That takes you back into the childhoods and the decisions you make in your 20s and stuff like that. So that's basically what that was about. But I was on a journey to figure out, why do I cling to alcohol or cigarettes? Like, why? I know why I started smoking cigarettes. I remember the day. I remember it like it was yesterday. But like, why? Why am I so addicted to that type of stuff?
So tell us why you started smoking cigarettes then.
I got in trouble in school. I wasn't the best student. I wasn't the model student in school. Got in some trouble. And I was starting to become very delinquent as a teenager. And my mom's boyfriend, which is her husband now, at the time, I didn't like him, didn't see eye to eye with him. Just getting in trouble in school, didn't want to really hear his mouth. Because at that time, I felt like I was the man of the house, like I'm the man of the house. So my dad was in prison. So I was like, go live with my grandmother. Right? So I go live with my grandma. And we watching we watching TV. She's like, you got to register for school. You got to go back to school. Or you got to do something, but you're not finna sit in my house and do nothing all day. You're not going to sit in my house and just eat up my food and not contribute and do nothing. I'm not tolerating that. You got to do something. And as she's saying this, the Job Corps commercial comes on. Right? As she's saying this, she's like, that's it right there. So the next day we went to the Job Corps office. The man was like, where do you want to go? You can pick Kentucky. I think it was Kentucky, Georgia, or Miami. Of course, I was like, well, where's the one in Miami? And he told me where it was at. I was like, I want to go to the one in Miami because all of the other ones was like in the sticks and in the woods and like in the country parts. But the one in Miami was like in the city, and I didn't want to be in the country. I wanted to be amongst the happening stuff. So this was my mentality. So I picked Miami. It was my first choice. He was like, well, it's a wait list for that. I was like, okay, cool. So I think the wait list was probably 3 or 4 months or something like that. So at this, we leave, we sign up for it, we leave. And school is starting to, it's about to be August, and I got to go back to school. So I go back to my mother's house to go back to my high school that I went to, right? And I was like, I learned my lesson. I'm gonna be respectful. It's not that I was disrespectful, but I'm gonna make sure I'm doing everything that I need to be doing. Get in trouble, get in some big trouble, and the police end up getting involved. this incident. The police end up getting involved. So I go home one day, and the police is there and all this type of stuff. Get into trouble. The police is there. Um, Luckily, my mom's husband is like he worked in law enforcement, so um, but he wasn't a deputy, but he worked like office stuff. So, but he knew all of the cops. His best friend was a cop. His brother was a cop. So
Mm-hmm.
they kind of cut me some slack, right? So when they left, the phone rang, and this was before cell phones. The phone rang. Was calling the house, and I picked up. And it was like, "Hey, man, we got you ready to go to Job Corps. We got your spot. You leave such and such and such." I was like, "Nah, I don't want to go to Job Corps. I'm good. I'm gonna just stay at school and finish school."
Mm-hmm.
My mother was home, and when her phone rings, she wants to know who is it. She looks at the caller ID. This is pre-cell phones. So
Mm-hmm.
she's like, "Who was that?" I was like, "Oh, it was the Job Corps man." And she was like, "Well, what did he want?" I was like, "Oh, well, they was just saying that it's time for me to go, but I told him, I didn't want to go no more. I'm gonna stay in school." She was like, "Oh no, the hell, no, you're not." This was on a Thursday. On a Thursday, my cousin is laughing. It's my producer. He's laughing because he know my mom. Um,
I can picture it. I don't even know her, and I can picture it.
she's like, "Oh nah, that's not. No, we're not doing that. You got to do something with your life." This was on a Wednesday, I think. Thursday, I had to go sign up and sign myself out of school. Friday, we did my goodbyes at school. Monday, I was on a Greyhound. It was that fast. It was that fast. I'm in a whole new city by myself. I'm on a Greyhound by myself. And the Greyhounds, they stop in all of these little towns.
Mm-hmm.
They stop in all of these little towns. I'm in Florida, Tampa, Florida. So we stop in, I think, Punta Gorda, Florida, right, which is probably 45 minutes south. See this white guy, older white guy, smoking a cigarette. In my mind, this was when they was smoking restaurants, and
Mm-hmm.
you could smoke in restaurants. They had cigarette ads and all of this back then. So you see this stuff as a kid. When you're mad, you're angry, cigarette. And so,
Mm-hmm.
or when you're stressed out, cigarette. So I'm telling my 17-year-old self, I'm stressed out, and I see that guy smoking a cigarette. I was like, "Hey man, I'll give you $1 for a cigarette." And
Mm-hmm.
he gave me the cigarettes, the best feeling I ever felt. That one time, I never got that feeling again, and that's how I started smoking cigarettes. 17 years old, and because I was stressed out from like being uprooted from my situation so fast,
Mm-hmm.
drop of a dime. Like Wednesday, then Monday I was on, and then I was like nervous because I was going to another city by myself, and I was gonna have to live down in like no family or nothing. So I smoked that cigarette, and I smoked cigarettes every day for 7 years, besides 7 months when I was in jail. Um, in our county jails, you couldn't smoke cigarettes back then.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up going to prison, and as soon as I got to prison, I started smoking again. So, but I smoked from 17 minus 7 months all the way up until 33 or 34 years old.
That's an interesting story, Jay, because I really didn't expect you to say that. It was kind of funny because you're making me look back, because sometimes I say people don't usually start using substances to cope because you don't think to use a substance to cope unless you already use a substance, but you did. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? It doesn't occur to you like I'm gonna smoke a cigarette because I'm stressed out unless you smoke cigarettes. But it did for you in that moment.
Yeah. You see it in the commercials.
Mm-hmm.
My grandma used to smoke when I was a kid. She ended up stopping. She stopped for me actually, because I was a kid. I told her, I was like, "You're gonna die if you keep smoking," and she stopped smoking.
Did she get mad at you when you started smoking?
No, I was not really, no. But she always said, she would tell me, "You need to stop or you're gonna die." Like
Mm-hmm.
same thing you told me. But whenever I would see my grandma mad or something like that, she would go outside and smoke a cigarette. So you just see these images as a kid your whole life. You see in the commercials, you seeing all of this stuff. And so I thought that I'm stressed out. Hey
Mm-hmm.
man, can I get a cigarette? I give you $1. I gave him 4 quarters for a cigarette.
Mm-hmm. And it worked. You said it was the best feeling you ever had the first time.
Yeah, I wasn't nervous about going down there. I just felt better
Uh-huh.
instantly. And it was like the first cigarette. Anybody smoke cigarettes know you never get that buzz again. You get a little cigarette buzz. You'll never get it again.
Mm-hmm.
So I got that cigarette buzz, and yeah, the rest was history from there. I smoked a pack a day for 17 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
For those of you who are watching live, I've seen some comments coming through. Somebody said, "Are we live?" Because they're not answering our comments. We are going to get to your comments. I don't know. Do you have time to answer a few questions?
Yeah.
Okay. If you have a question for Dre, if you don't mind, put some question marks beside it, because it's hard for me to read the comments and decide, because everybody talks to each other and I can't decide who's talking to me and talking to each other. Put some question marks on there and put your question up there for Dre, and we'll see if he's got time to answer it for you. While they put their questions in there, because there's a little lag, do you think it was worth it? All the hard that you went through, are you glad you did it?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
What are the best benefits you think to sort of taking all those substances out? If somebody's watching it and they're thinking about it, what would you tell them?
It makes you stronger. It makes you stronger. And that strength is very attractive to not only the opposite sex or women, especially as a man. That strength for me is not only attractive to women, but to opportunity. You know, when people see you, that strength, that clarity, opportunity tends to come your way.
Because it makes you feel better about you, which then attracts all of those things.
Exactly.
I love it. Okay. Got it. And since you said that, I will say, for those of you who are just now meeting Dre, he does have a YouTube channel. Tell him what your channel is called.
It's called the Captain Saver Bro Show. It's a little raunchy.
Tell him what you talk about on your channel.
I talk about intergender dynamics between men and women, but I'm on the man side.
That was super fancy.
Yeah.
Wait a second. He teaches men how to deal with women.
Yeah, I teach men how to deal with women, right? From a man's perspective, because I don't like to see men get taken advantage of. I don't like for men to be hurt. I don't like for men to be down in the dumps, and I don't like for men to be feeling how I felt at one point in time. Not that my kid's mother took advantage of me, but that felt horrible.
Heartbroken.
Yeah, heartbroken. It wasn't the first time, but that one was a little different. I've always got my heart broken. If you play, you get burned. Especially the way I played, you get burned. But that one was different because, you know, I was in my mind trying to do the right thing this time. So I don't like for guys to feel like that. And I had this girl that I was dealing with, and make a long story short, she has kind of always been my girl, not like my main girl, but like she's always been in love with me. But, you know, she would have her little relationships, and the guy that she was with was like so good on paper. Like on paper, he was like perfect, but I just had it. And she was breaking up with him anyway. That was already, but he kind of got wind of what was going on. He was very hurt, and I felt very bad for him because he was on paper, he was doing everything right. I felt extremely, extremely bad for this guy. And so that coupled with, you know, everything else and me like wanting to have a purpose in life and stuff like that, that's when I started to make content to help men navigate women. Because I realized not everybody knew how to navigate women like I thought I knew how to navigate women. So yeah, that's basically what it's about. Basically a locker room. It's just a locker room.
Yeah. And so if you guys check out Dre's channel, those of you who are not familiar with him, the language on there is real.
Oh yeah.
And I like what you said. You talk to men like men talk in the locker room. So just telling y'all now, if you're super sensitive. Yeah. But what Dre has to say over there, you had the video that I came across, you guys, that I watched of Dre's, that first one. Because obviously I'm not a man trying to figure out how to pick up women. So, but there was a video that came up and said 7 lessons or something like that I wish my father taught me.
Right.
And everything you said on there resonated with me. Now, I reached out to you because of what you said about the alcohol, which I think really was just sort of a happenstance in these other lessons that you were talking about.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. It was you want to tell them what I said?
Which one? The alcohol part. Yes. I'm glad you said that. The thing Dre said about the alcohol part, I literally stopped the video. I went in and got a pad and paper out of the kitchen and wrote down. He said, because what Dre said on the video was, if if you are drinking alcohol to do something, you either don't need to be doing it, you're just drinking alcohol to make your conscience feel okay about doing it, you need to stop doing it, or you need to get brave enough to do it without the alcohol. And I thought, man, that's like gold right there. I stopped and wrote that down because I liked it. And that's what made me reach out to you. Tell us about that philosophy.
We drink to ease anxiety, erase fears, and lower our inhibitions, right? Um, and we tend to make crazy decisions when we do such. And based, my channel is based around dealing with women. A lot of the guys need alcohol to go approach a woman and talk. So their only way of scoring girls, so to speak, is meeting them at bars or clubs where alcohol is present, because they don't have the balls to go approach a woman in the store.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but when you meet women who partying all the time, you get something that you don't typically want.
Yeah.
Right. So
right.
the thing behind that was, develop the courage to do things, and you don't need the alcohol. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need the alcohol to lower your inhibitions to do something, then you shouldn't be doing that. That's something that you shouldn't be doing. And that piece was basically, a lot of the times, even when I looked back on my life, a lot of the women that I slept with or that I dealt with at some point in the beginning involved alcohol. Not all, but a lot of it. So you go on a date with a woman, you meet a woman at the store, and you talk, and hey, let's go out to get something to eat. So you go to that first date, there's always drinks involved, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what happens when the drinks involved, it's like, okay, he's cute, I'll do it, right? If everything goes how it should be going, if I'm doing everything goes how it should go, and I'm doing everything that I need to be doing as far as attraction wise and seduction wise and blah, blah, blah. For me, the alcohol kind of takes away from the skill level. And so when I stopped drinking alcohol, I noticed that I had to kind of rely on me now.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt better to seduce a woman, or she liked me enough to take it there with me. That felt much better because it was all natural. There was no influences. Her inhibitions wasn't lowered with a glass of wine, and it's naturally and it's raw. And when that happens, and I'm trying to, because I know you have a lot of women watching, when that naturally, when that happens, and you intertwine with each other, it feels a lot better.
It's genuine. It's genuine on your part. It's genuine. It's natural. Right. It's happening because the chemistry's there. It's happening.
genuine.
Right.
And I challenge the guys to try that instead of throwing alcohol in the mix. So that's what that, as far as that piece you was talking, that was the thought process behind it, everything that I said.
And that's a big issue, because I see a lot of people in the early days of sobriety, and the whole, like, how do I be social? How do I date and be sober? That's a big issue people deal with. How do I say I don't drink? And how do I talk to a woman? And how do I navigate, all these situations? That's a real thing that a lot of people have to figure out.
If you're a woman, it's much more attractive to a man if you don't. Trust me, because I tell men to stay away from women who drink. It's if you're a woman and you drink, you're much more appealing to a man if you don't drink, right?
Okay.
And if you're a man who don't drink, you shouldn't care what a woman, because I tell women, you don't drink. Oh, you don't drink? Okay, and I don't care what you think. It just, people look at you again like you stronger, and that strength is attractive to people.
Mm-hmm.
You see, well, most the guys that they was dealing with before, every time he get off of work, he got to drink beer or he can't function. A woman may be coming from that versus to see me. I have my stuff together. I have my life together. I don't depend on caffeine to keep me going throughout the day. I don't depend on nicotine to deal with my emotions, and I don't depend on alcohol to make me give me courage, or to make me, kill my conscience in the moment. So I noticed to a lot of women it was very attractive. So
right.
It's positives on both sides.
No, I would agree exactly what you said about, to women. You said it's attractive if women don't drink. It's a good quality. I would say it's the same way in reverse. I think it's attractive quality. The only time it's not is if a woman has a problem with drinking herself. And so she doesn't want to be with a man that doesn't drink because she can't not drink. So the only
Right.
time that's really an issue is if somebody has their own problem with it.
Right. And I've run into that too. And that's just, I don't need you in my life. That's
Right.
it. I'm glad that we're not on the same page.
Okay.
Because that's not what I want in my life anyway. So
It's just
works out perfectly.
right. Kind of screens in the right ones and out the wrong ones.
Yes.
Right? I'm going to scroll through here just a second, if that's okay. And we're going to take a couple questions. We sure appreciate your time. We don't want to hold you forever. Let's see. Anthony says, how did you get back to YouTube and get back into the groove? I'm having issues with mine and I do advocate stuff. Like, how'd you get yourself motivated to be back in the game?
I just was laying around, kind of like feeling sorry for myself. And I remember thinking like, you got to finish what you started. Because all my life I like start stuff and I don't finish it. So it's like, just get back to it. Just get back to it. And the minute I did, I got the validation from it, which is, we do things for validation. For people to tell you you're doing a good job, you changed my life. And the minute I came back on, the emails came, the DMs came. Man, I'm glad you're back. They didn't know what was going on. I explained later, but they didn't really know what was going on. But and again, my following wasn't that big, but it was intimate enough for me to notice people. Because now I'm at like,
they cared that you were gone, and they're glad that you're back.
Yes. Yeah. So I just remember one day, like, man, just go do it. And I also do remember too. I'm thinking now. I remember getting an email that kind of like triggered me. It's kind of triggered too. So there's a bunch of stuff, but I got an email that was very triggering. A guy that was going through something, and I was like, I gotta shake this off and go do that. But once I did that, I was been on the road. It
rewards itself. The dopamines come back in, all the brain chemistry and all that. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Francie's got a question. She says, do you miss the warm, fuzzy blanket of addiction?
I'm gonna be honest, completely honest. It didn't even feel like addiction, so I don't know. Like, I guess I was delusional in thinking like I'm different and I'm better than everybody else. I'm not like that. So in my mind, then I didn't look at it like that. Like it wasn't a warm, fuzzy type of like blanket. But I do, if I'm understanding the question correctly, there are times where I miss not being anxious and having to deal with my anxiousness. Because if you're drinking or smoking, it's easy to deal with being anxious. It's easy to deal with fear. Like I do launches, right? Some of the most stressful things anybody in marketing can do. Like the way I launch my courses, I do like 5-day launches. We prepare for 30 days, and how good you do that year depends on 5 days.
You got to bring it all in for 5 days. Yeah.
Very stressful. And it's just like, I know that if I had cigarettes, I wouldn't have to deal with my muscles twitching, because I get anxious sometimes. My muscles twitch, or my biceps twist, or my chest twitch, or like not shortness of breath, but you feel like you're smothering sometimes. The headaches, the stiff bones, like just feeling like that. The stomach turning. Not that I miss it. It's not like I miss it, but sometimes like it'd be nice if I didn't have to.
There's a relief that comes with those substances, right? And so sometimes it's easy to want to be like, I'd be easy. It sure would be nice right now. That relief.
Yeah. But it's not like I long for to miss it or it's a warm, fuzzy. Because I didn't look at it was like an addiction, but I think I understand the question. Not miss, but sometimes you do think like, well, again, like I said, I don't know if it was before we talked or I meant before we got live, but like if I had this, I wouldn't be feeling like that, basically. But it doesn't make me want to go do that.
Right. Because the feeling you get from doing it yourself, feeling strong, feeling good about yourself, does it override that other feeling? Is that what it is?
Yeah. And I was getting ready to say that. we tend to think that the substances only override the negative emotions, which is anger and fear and anxiety and depression, but it also suppresses the positive emotions, the joy and excitement. Like when I get excitement, it's like it feels crazy. Like the first time I got excited, like sober,
Mm-hmm.
it felt like crazy. I felt like a little kid, but it feels good. Like when you
Mm-hmm.
get something, or uh like when I do my launches and they going good, like that whole week is like the biggest high ever. Like my stripe is just going off all day stripe.
Mm-hmm.
797, 797, 797. And it's just like it feels good.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed like when I was like my whole life it was kind of dull. Like
Yep.
just like dull.
I think that's a good point, because when you choose to put the cap on it, you don't get to just put the cap on this and not that. You putting the cap on it, right?
Everything.
And
Yeah.
you closing the door to all of it. I'm really glad you said that. That's a great
Yeah.
point. Yeah. Let's see. Jimmy's got a question. Jimmy says, "Hey Dre, do you think young guys being addicted to porn stems from the same thing as alcohol and drugs?"
Yes. Yes. Quit it. I mean, yeah, let the porn go, man. I'm conscious of because it's women watching me, but screw it.
You can just say whatever you want to say. The women watching have been through some stuff. We can handle it. So go ahead.
But my advice is going to sound crazy.
Okay.
Now, go do it naturally. Go get laid, bro. Like you have the urges. You're young. Go get laid. I'm not telling you to be irresponsible, but challenge yourself to go get laid. Because
Yeah,
that's what you want to do anyway. That's why you jerking off, because it's cheap, it's easy, but you cheat yourself when you do that. You
right.
cheat yourself.
I would add to what Dre says. I agree, because when you get addicted to pornography, you lose the ability to be with people in real life. And so you're cheating yourself of the whole thing, right? So yeah.
Right. So you go how let's say you're 20 years old and you whacking off 3 times a day for 10 years. Now you're 30, right? You don't even know how to deal with women. You don't know what come with women. You don't know how to deal with the nuances of women. You don't know how to attract women, but you want a family now. What are you going to do? So you cheating yourself of the experiences by taking the easy way out. Just go face fear in the face rejection. The worst a woman can tell you is no. Go talk to the women you want to talk to, learn. That's what I do anyway. I teach men how to do stuff like that. So just go do it. Trust me, while you're young, and get over that now, because you're going to cheat yourself. And when it matters, when you want that family, when you want that family, when you want that wife, when you want that kids, those kids, a solid, decent woman is not going to find you attractive. The only type of women who are going to find you attractive are the exploiters, and they're going to come for you, and it's just going to make everything worse. So now you have a woman who's an exploiter, and you don't know how to deal with it.
Right. That's a good point.
So
you can only attract a person as healthy as you are.
Exactly.
That's it. Right.
So yeah, go get laid, my brother.
Violet says, "What's the name of your channel?" Tell them again.
The Captain Saver Bro Show.
Captain Saver Bro.
Captain Saver Bro Show.
Saska says, "Did you ever consider joining AA?"
At one point, yeah, but I was just like, yeah, I remember. It was like fleeting though. It was probably one day I was thinking about it, like maybe I should join a AA meeting or something. This was like when I first started, like when I first quit, probably a couple weeks after that. But that didn't really last long. I don't know what stopped me. It's like I don't want to go in there talking to all them people, like, and I just didn't. I didn't think about it no more. But I did think about it one time.
Charlotte says, "How did you manage to stay employed when you drank that much?"
I had my own thing going. That was after. See, I had a warehouse job. It was a very shitty job. I just drank after I got off work. When it was drink after I got off work. At that time, I had a warehouse job. I remember it was horrible, the worst job ever. And after I got off, and before then, I was another warehouse job. So it was like a year and a half of shitty warehouse work. But during that time, when I got off work, I drank, chill with a lady, chill with a woman or whatever, and just drink. And then get up, but I would be so like tired that I need Red Bulls the next day. Like my sleep wasn't good. I snored really bad. That's another thing. When you stop drinking and smoking, you just sleep at the best sleep ever.
Mm-hmm.
Is you get very, very good sleep, satisfying sleep.
Right, because you can drink alcohol, make you go to sleep, but you don't get
that.
dream sleep. You don't
Yeah.
get restorative sleep, so you're not really sleeping.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
I was thinking, shit, this helps me go to sleep. So I drink and it's pass out.
right, but it's not. You don't get the
You don't get that quality
restorative
sleep.
kind. Right, that's right. Yeah.
So yeah, I just I'm not a type of person that I like to do my own thing. So that the working for that warehouse it didn't last long anyway because I
Mm-hmm.
ended up quitting. And it's not really because of alcohol. It was just I figured out how to make money for myself. And
Found something better.
at that time, what led me to the warehouses was because again, I spent my whole 20s doing bad illegal stuff, teens and 20s. So I didn't develop skills, college, or nothing like that. So when I got older, I didn't have the paper or the qualifications or develop any skills. So I had to do shit work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I still had to. I want to be my own boss mentality always. Like I want to work for myself. I don't like working for people. I don't want to contribute to somebody else's greatness. I want to contribute to my own and build my own empire. So the warehouse thing, the working thing didn't last long because I figured out, something after that.
Okay.
It's kind of started my own thing right after that.
Ava says, "What do you think about someone replacing an alcohol addiction with a weed addiction?"
Um, if that's a one, listen, I'm gonna just say from a man, and it's no offense, weed does not make you look good in a man's eyes. Like, yeah, weed is not good. It's not. And I'm
And
kind of biased
Ava
against
may
it.
be asking for herself, but we have a lot of family members that watch, so she
Oh,
could be
okay.
asking. I'm
Uh,
not sure. I don't know why she's asking, but it's
it's
possible she's
not.
asking
It's
for
not.
someone.
I mean, you taking okay instead of you damaging your liver, you damaging your lungs now. You're damaging your heart now. You're still killing your body.
Mm-hmm.
You're still messing with your brain. So just kick it. It's not gonna last long. Like it's you'll get over it.
Right.
That
It'll be
intensity,
uncomfortable, but get better.
it'll get better. Just get a
Mm-hmm.
support system, or if you got to go to an inpatient or do something, get around people for
Mm-hmm.
support. But it's worth it to not just keep switching because that's what I did. Okay, I ain't gonna smoke the cigarettes, so I'm gonna just do the vapes. I stopped
Mm-hmm.
the vapes. It's now it's Black and Miles, right? But I'm smoking 10 Black and Miles a day. I ain't
Mm-hmm.
gonna do the alcohol. I'm gonna do beer now, or this or that. So just
It just,
replace it with
it just
something
ends up
positive.
the same way. So you can skip it and just get to the end, right? Just like Dre just said, I'm just gonna be doing all of it,
Right.
right? He's been done. Charlotte's asking, can I add your link to YouTube? I will definitely. I will add it in the description and in the comments so you guys can get the link to hear more wisdom from Dre. And we're gonna take this last question from Leslie. Leslie wants to know, what's your advice on when to leave an alcoholic?
Man, the right part of my brain says, stay there and support him and all that shit, but it's gonna take for you leaving. He's gonna have to feel loss because as long as you enabling him, he's not gonna change. And it's just gonna only get worse and worse and worse and worse. I think the best thing that happened to me was me and my kids' mom splitting up because that's what made me spring to get my stuff together. Although I started drinking more heavily, but we didn't end on like because I was drinking or something like that, stuff like that. But it was more so like I got myself in a funk and I wasn't trying to pull myself out, and I got content and lazy with my life. And when she started to, it was a mutual split, but when I saw that she wasn't attracted to me anymore, or that I was going to lose here, and then once it was over, that loss made me want to get myself together.
Right.
You there enable him, and I know for him, I don't know. You should have him reach out to me. So I can say, hey, man, your lady about to leave your ass, bro. But if her staying there, she's enabling him, And then when you're drinking, she's putting herself in being susceptible to mental abuse, because when you're drinking, you say crazy shit, or physical abuse, or even worse, like getting killed, right? So let's say you don't get killed or nothing like that, but you still have to deal with, now you damaging yourself. So now you damage, and then, damaged people damage people. So you go meet a good man and you damage him, and then he damages a woman, and it's just a crazy cycle.
That's right. Yeah.
I'll switch it. Now it's just a crazy cycle. You know, so I would sit him down and say, hey, listen, you're gonna have to shit or get off the pot. If not, I'm out of here. Especially if you have kids and shit like that. Because again, you being there, it takes loss for, especially for men. We have to literally lose in order to see clear. Like your woman have to literally walk away from you. Because if you stay there, psychologically, like, subconsciously, it's like, okay, obviously the behavior is cool because she's still here. It's just like if a man beats on you, or he's beating on you. If you don't leave, subconsciously and psychologically tell yourself, well, she's obviously okay with it, even if you're not consciously thinking this. So there's really no incentive to change. So yeah, again, the good part of me says, hey, stay there and support him and all this shit. But to be honest, that is not.
There comes a point, and I think Dre made a good point about, if you allow yourself to be damaged to a point, you'll be damaging other people. And that's
Yes.
true. And that's true. It spreads. Hurt, there's a saying in the counseling world, hurt people, and that's the truth. Right.
Yeah,
and so
that's why
you've
we're
got
in
to
the
decide.
position now.
You don't want to let it change you like that, because then you could be continuing the whole thing subconsciously, not on purpose, but subconsciously.
Yeah, so just subconsciously, when you damage, regardless of how good you want to be, when you damage, you behave differently.
That's right.
So you get a good man, right? And you damage him. So yeah, I want to say, hey, support him and help him, lift him up, but that because that would be unfair of me, because I tell my guys, if your girl smoke weed every day, or if she drink every day, just out. Don't deal with women like that. The problem is bigger than you. Their issue is bigger than you. You can't fix that. Only they can fix that. So I would be unfair for me to say here and say, oh, well, support him, and regardless of how I'm pro man, right? I want the men to be back strong again, but yeah, he gonna have to feel loss.
Well, we want to thank you so much, Dre. You've given us a lot of wisdom. We certainly appreciate your time on a Sunday afternoon. You guys check out Dre's channel. I will link it up here. And he's got a lot of wisdom to share. I've watched a lot of his videos, even though I'm not looking to figure out women, but there's a lot of wisdom in there, and I agree with almost everything I hear you say. So
yeah, when you come over there, just know I will say
the language is rough. The language
is rough, and I'm gonna explain that. I know we got to go, but I do want to pre-warn, right? As the women who watching this, right? You will never ever hear how men talk to each other, because the moment you walk in the room, the tones change, the conversation change. People get a little bit more respectful, right? You'll never ever hear how men unless you're eavesdropping or you leave a microphone somewhere. You'll never hear.
Don't do that, women. That's a mistake. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
So I said that to say, when you come to my channel, I speak to men as if no women are listening. Sometimes I even said it on my last show, I wish women couldn't even comment. And it's not that I don't like women or have a thing against women, but I'm only talking to men. This message is specifically for men. And so just keep that in mind.
You've been warned. Informed consent right there. All right. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you. We'll be back live next Thursday at 1.